know, we're in our third and last speaker on our series of healing. Because Unity was founded on healing. Myrtle Fillmore understood the power of what it was to speak healing into her body. And we are founded on that power. So when the worship team was putting together our speakers, it was an easy choice to say Dr. Elizabeth Vaughn and Dr. Joyce Torelli. And then it was just as easy to say we needed Reverend Denise DeSimone in this series.
Yeah.
Because we knew that if anyone understood healing, it would be Denise. How many of you heard Denise speak before? Just, okay, not quite half, not maybe a third. Wonderful. She was with us a few years ago. She came, she actually lived here with us for a while she wrote her book From Stage 4 to Center Stage. But Denise is not only an author, but she is an ordained interfaith minister. She's a personal mentor. She's a certified sound healer. And she's certified in half a dozen different healing modalities. And from a medical standpoint, Denise is really a walking, talking, singing miracle, having survived stage 4 throat and neck cancer, to actually singing on center stage. Center stage being 22 months after being warned she may never sing again. She sang to a sellout crowd of 37,000 people in Boston's Fenway Park when she sang the national anthem. That's what we call healing. Her story has been shared on Inside Edition, Fox News, the Berkeley Report, NBC's daytime show, and extensive radio interviews all over the world. I think Dr. Bernie Siegel said it best after reading Denise's book. He said, "This woman is living the sermon. Reading her book can be a guide for anyone facing life's difficult challenges. Because if you have the courage and you're willing to show up for practice and not fear change, if you're willing to show up, practice, and not fear change," he said, "let this book become your coach, and it will guide you to a healed life." Denise now travels the country and the world sharing her message and her love. Welcome, Reverend Denise DeSimone.
I'm a little emotional, so bear with me. Greensboro is a very important place in my heart. And all of you, many of you here today were very much a part of my journey through being here and leaving my home and coming down here to write my book. And it would not have been possible without Pat Moore. No crying, Angela. So, just a little update on what I've been up to. I decided last winter, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I don't like the winter any longer. I got spoiled coming down. So last winter I went out to California and I had a wonderful time, and I was out there for 3 months, and then I passed through a month of wonderful days in Nashville, Tennessee, and I went back to Boston in May, and it was still cold. And I said, what is up with this? I can't believe it. Next year I've got to come back in June. So yes, I was invited through the doorway of transformation with cancer. I feel like our challenges in our lives are, and whether you agree with me or not, this is how I feel, that they really are doorways to transformation. And that's when we really grow and stretch. And I want to talk today about, healing versus curing. And I feel like I did experience a huge healing, and I'm so blessed every day to stand, get up, wake up, and have yet another day. Because none of us really know how many days or how many moments we will have, do we? We just never know. So life is precious. So the doctors were very instrumental in helping cure me. And MD, I heard something very interesting. MD stands for minor deity. Now, Elizabeth, I love you. And that doesn't refer to you. But the last line in chapter 6 of my book, From Stage 4 to Center Stage, in my book in chapter 6 is entitled Pin, because what I did was I named my cancer. I gave it permission and I gave it a pen and I asked it to teach me, because one thing I didn't do is I didn't battle. I don't believe battling anything is going to get us anywhere. So I knew that in healing I needed to cure myself with the doctors and the minor deities. But the last line in chapter 6 says, curing was the work of the doctors, but healing me from the inside out would be the work of my soul. And I do believe that it is the work of our soul. So we take a look at, because you know who the major deity is? God. The co-creating that we do with our God, our infinite intelligence, our higher power, whatever we call it. We call it because it's there. I know I'm speaking to the choir, but it's never gets old to be reminded of that. So when I looked up about curing, you know, to cure a person or an animal is to relieve a symptom or a disease or a condition, but to heal is to become healthy again, to be of sound health. And in the olden days, I remember hearing, oh, that person is of sound health. Remember that? And so I started to think about it, and that statement really goes into my soul very deeply. Because sound healing is something that I am thrilled about. I love that I know a lot about sound healing, and I love it even more that I get to share sound healing and the vibration healing. Because it is a vibration. When we are of sound health, we are vibrating. We've come back into the homeostasis that we were born into when we incarnated, into the miracle that we are. You see, life is a miracle. We are a miracle. Once, I don't know, maybe, you know, I have lots of family, some of you know, I have 52 nieces and nephews, and they just keep coming. And we had another one not long ago pop in, and it's a miracle, isn't it? But you know, so were we once, that 6 or 7, 8 or 10 pound baby. But we forget that we were miracles. So if you take nothing away today, remember that you are a miracle. And we were born in perfect health. We were born healthy. We were born at the vibration of health and beauty and peace. And then we get a little distracted. And the people in our lives, sometimes the parental units help distract us. We love them for that. So I had to go about healing me from the inside out, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. It didn't mean I will. Because you know what? Someday, guess what? I'm going to die. And so are you. I hope it's not soon, because I have a lot to do. But if it is, I'm good. And if I had died then, it would have been okay. My older sister said, you die, and I'm going to kill you. And you know, I don't mess with her. Pat knows my sister Delita, and when you read the book, you'll know too, and you say, no wonder why she went through all that to stay alive. But I had to go into the spiritual gymnasium. You see, I had been in, and I love working out, I love going into the gym, I love being physically fit. In fact, before I was diagnosed with stage 4 throat and neck cancer, I was at the gym 4 days a week. I was swimming. I was riding my bike. In fact, I was training to do a 90-mile bike ride to raise money for cancer. 2 days later, I almost died the day of the ride, actually. I have no recollection of the last 40 miles of that ride. So 2 days later, my doctor told me, after not seeing me for months, and my requesting, I'm dragging, I'm tired, but he said, you're overdoing it, you're training too much. So I know what it was like. I know how to be physically fit. I know how to go into that gymnasium. You see, but I've been involved with Unity for 17 years. And I knew. Pat asked you a question, why are we here? And we said our mission statement, right? And that's nice. And you probably go home, and I would say half of you don't remember that unless we're reading it. But there's a bigger reason why we're here. There's a much larger reason why you come here every Sunday. We don't find God in these walls. We find each other. We find God in our soul every minute of every day. And so in that spiritual gymnasium that I had been involved in, and I had been every Sunday going to, I was one of 20 people that started a church in Amesbury, Massachusetts. And now it's well over 200 people every Sunday. But the spiritual gymnasium I was in called me forward and asked me, okay, you've been exercising these muscles. You know if you go to ride your bike 100 miles, that's not a problem. I'll get tired, but it wasn't a problem. I go to lift a box and my muscles are there because I've spent time exercising. But were my spiritual muscles in alignment for what I needed to take the biggest lifting myself up in a way that I had not been invited to do? So when we're here, this is a message for you, your spiritual gymnasium. I hope you never have to go into that level of, that depth of healing within you. I wish my wish would be that no one ever had to deal with cancer. But I was interviewed last month by a woman in China. And she said in her sweet little accent, she asked me if I could reverse the clock and I could turn back time, and if I was given a choice, if I was going to have cancer or I could choose not to. I wholeheartedly and unequivocally said I would choose cancer. I wouldn't change a thing because it was a true transformation. And I can't tell you because we don't have time. I wish I could talk to you for 2 hours. But it was the most divinely guided journey I've ever been on. It was just a beautiful, you see, in the absence of, I was fed through a tube for 9 months. I couldn't drink water, I couldn't eat, and I couldn't sing, which really, that was the biggest problem. I couldn't eke a note. But in that absence of all of life's essentials, what I got was time and silence. You know, you take away everything in the way. I'm threatening to someday have a party with no food, no water, just be with people, you know. I was nourished by the soul of each person. I was nourished by their eyes, because that was all I had. But I was really nourished, and I got to feel the palpable energy of the one. And that's where the healing is. And healing for all of us is in the moment. Oftentimes we're back here beating ourselves up for something else, or in the future worrying about what might happen. And really, why do we do it? Because true healing, everybody, is in the moment. It's the only way we can really be healed, is to stay present to the moment. So I had to take steps in creating a really positive mindset. I had a lot of time to think about what I thought about. You ever think about what you think about? You ever really pay attention to what you're paying attention to? I got to do that a lot. And to think about what we think about. And be more present in the moment. Helped me avoid cancer. I didn't focus on cancer. In fact, when I stood up in front of my community, see, I was not only someone who helped start the church, I had been somebody who had been all over that church in service, from the board to greeting people to in the choir. So they looked at me as a pillar in the community and somebody who was physically fit, and here I am getting sick. But I stood in front of them and I said, you know what, guys, I don't have cancer. I have an opportunity to take a closer walk with God. I have an opportunity to go exercise my spiritual muscles. So I didn't focus on cancer. I focused on I am statements, and I think these are important statements, you know, because someone said to me very early on my journey, a friend of mine called me the morning after I And she said in a very soft, sweet voice, "Do you want to pray?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "Dee, I got to tell you something." I said, "What?" She said, "You didn't do anything wrong." That was the kindest thing anybody had said to me. Because I had been up, you can imagine, up all night thinking, "Oh, jeepers, creepers, I'm a good lunatic. I've been doing that for years. I help people. I'm a nice person. Sure, I got a little Italian edge, and I'm a fiery person sometimes, but all in all..." Todd, you're laughing too hard. But you know what I'm saying, right? She said, "You didn't do anything wrong." And the second thing I want you to take away, you have not done anything wrong either. We've never done anything wrong. In fact, when we know better, we do better, like Maya Angelou says. So I started saying affirmations, and I just learned something I want to share with you that is so potent and powerful. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I would say, I am a beloved child of God, therefore I am in perfect union with the one. I am in perfect health. And when I was out in California, I studied with this great teacher. And she said, "I'm going to share something with you. Do you do affirmations?" I said, "Yes, I do." And I always knew something was missing. And she said, "I want you to have an affirmation that ends with a statement of truth. So I want to share this with you." So I would say, "I am healed, whole, and healthy," or whatever my affirmation is, whatever my dream is, whatever I want to create. "I am healed, whole, and healthy. My name is Denise DeSimone. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I'm in Unity in Greensboro right now. I am healed, whole, and healthy. Today is Sunday, June 2nd. Do you see that? You see the anchoring, the power of anchoring that affirmation in with the truth? So I want to invite you now to just close your eyes for a moment and bring an affirmation to mind that might resonate with you at this moment in time. And just say that affirmation, and I want you to say, because it's the easiest thing to do, because you know the truth about you is your name. Whatever your I am statement, I am, my name is. I am, my name is. I am, my name is. All right, you need to open your eyes now. So how does that feel? Didn't that feel like it could really bolster your affirmations? So affirmations are important. And physically, I don't have time to get into this, but you know, we can't heal. And Elizabeth is the perfect person to talk to us about this, and I watched her talk. It was great. We can't heal physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, if we're putting a negative vibration into our body. You know, I like sugar with all of them, but I'm mindful of that. And we have to be more and more mindful of what we're putting in our bodies. You know, people think I'm crazy, but you should see what I make in the morning. I make a protein drink that would, I mean, it could, that horse that won the Kentucky Derby could have had that and just blown out of it. Because that's how I start my day. So there's nutrition we have to pay attention to, and physically, we got to move our bodies. I mean, I know I love going to the gym and walking and all that, and some people don't. A lot of my friends walk from the car to the house and they get tired. And I say to them, ladies, we're looking at 60. Not getting any younger, we've got to move our bodies. I don't want to belabor that, but how many are really looking at how you treat your body? How many of you said, "Oh, I wish I had time to go to the gym"? Here's the deal, you don't have time not to go to the gym. Time's ticking. We don't get these moments back, we don't get today back, we don't get tomorrow back. So be good to yourselves physically. Put good vibration into your body. Once in a while, have some fun. Emotionally, I had to take responsibility for my situation. I had the ability to respond. I had to take 100% responsibility for my cancer. And I had to really look at that this challenge was a doorway to my transformation. And the cancer, and whatever it is for you, whatever that is. Our bodies are inviting us to pay attention, to get to another level and peel away what we have layered on, or other people have layered on. People have asked me, what did you do to end up the way you are and healthy? And I said, I didn't do anything. I undid a lot of things. Think about that. There's not much to do. We have to be. There's an undoing. And in the undoing, we start to get back to what? The miracle that we were born into when we weighed 7 pounds. If you don't do this, keep a baby picture of yourself in your wallet. So every time you open that, you see that little one. And you remember that you're healthy, healed, and whole. And so I had to take responsibility in whatever it was that my body was asking me to pay attention to. That's why I decided not to battle. That's why I decided I was going to befriend my cancer. In fact, I almost named my book, Befriend, Don't Battle. Because where there's a war, where there's a battle, there's a war. And I don't have time to go on that subject, because we could talk about that for a long time. And one of the things I did was I journaled every day. I was too sick to even watch Ellen, and you know I was sick. I couldn't read most days because I was just sick. But I wrote every day, and that's how I wrote my book. And I just was able to really heal and shake out the cobwebs and rattle through it. And I did physical work. And I hope you join me this afternoon. I'll tell you a little bit in a little while about the workshop. But you know, I had to allow myself to get into those places where there were dense places and cobwebs. Because in talking to my cancer, Pin said, you know, the more light you can hold, the less room there'll be for me. And so I went about doing that. And I feel like journaling is one of those tools that we have to be able to do that. It's simple, but it's powerful. Spiritually, I believe meditating can bring us into a very healed place. I don't know if you meditate every day, but I do. I have since I was probably 27 years old, so that's a long time ago, 30 years. And I believe it is a great way to just stop. How often do we pause? I gave a whole talk on the power of the word pause. Not just the word, but the use of it. How often do we let ourselves pause and get into that spiritual place and that healing where spirit has all the answers because they're all right here. You know, when I decided I wasn't going to do chemo, people said, oh my God, you're crazy. And my doctors were all kind of twisted in knots. And I did one round, I said no. But my radiation oncologist said sometimes people know more about their bodies than we do, and I believe you are one of those people. I said thank you, because I knew by being quiet, how am I going to heal? Healing for me was not allowing that in my body. I had to do a lot of radiation, but I wouldn't be here in front of you today if I didn't do radiation. So they cured me, but healing was a whole bunch of processes, like I've just been talking about. And you know, if you know me, you know what's at the core of my message, and it's self-love. Self-love is the all-time greatest healer. And in order to live a healthy, healed, and whole life, you have got to come first. Not selfishly, not boastfully, not egotistically. But my cancer also said, the more you love yourself, the less reason for me to be here. Well, how do you go? I thought I did. But I obviously did not, because now I know I can stand before you and in a way, humble, from a place of humility. I truly love myself. Doesn't mean I don't go off in little crazy places once in a while, but I am very quick to come back to center. That's the beauty of the work, yes? That's the beauty of the work. So we bring it back to center. Because you know what? We have to ask and know that we'll receive. I asked without attachment to having to stay alive. You have to give and it will be given unto you. I had to give up the notion. I had to give up the attachment to having to live and hold on so tightly. I had to surrender, which meant open up. And then I had to receive. And in my giving, what I did, I believe this is a very important aspect of healing. What I did in giving was every day I had a prayer of St. Francis next to my chair. They lived in a recliner. And I would say that prayer every day, not for me, but for other people. Because I knew out there somebody was worse off than I was. And I in particular prayed for people people who were immobilized. Because I see, I could get up and walk. Some days I needed help, but I could get up and walk. So I would say that prayer no less than 4 or 5 times a day. So when you're feeling like, oh, woe is me, shift it and go give something to somebody. A smile, or give more money to Unity, or give somebody a hand, or just give a prayer to someone who you know is out there that you might not know, but they could use it. And then to receive, I received all and I opened my heart in gratitude. Not for, but in. I was grateful in what I found myself immersed in. I wasn't grateful for, I was grateful for the people in my life, but when we can be grateful in the muck and the mire and the challenges, because we know there's lessons, right? True healing can take place. Because you know, at the end of our lives, Brendan Burchard, I saw him in California, and he said, at the end of your life, you're going to listen, you're going to ask the question, did I live, did I love, and did I matter? Did I live my life, not somebody else's? Did I live according to what I know, because I've been quiet listening to the truth in me, about me, and for me? And did I live fully? And did I love? Did I love unconditionally as much as possible, beginning with myself? That's my adaptation of his words. And did I matter? Did I matter? Not maybe to the whole world, but did I matter to somebody? And so I say every day when you lay your head down on the pillow, ask yourself, did I live my life today, my dream? Did I love the best I could? And did I matter to at least maybe one person? And don't let a day go by, because you know what? We never get that day back. All right, well, my signature close is this. Take your left hand, give it a kiss. Take your right hand, give it a kiss. Now hold your face and squeeze tight. That person is the most precious, special soul on the planet, and don't forget it. And if you do, DeniseDeSimone.com. Love you. God bless you.